morning, that's not right. Good evening, strugglers. It's a Sunday, lovely sunny Sunday evening here. It's been about 4 or 5 days since I have vlogged, created a video. I've got one or two to upload that I didn't actually upload, that I did about 4 or 5 days ago. But yeah, it's mostly because I've been rushed off my feet. I think, I'm not sure if the tragedy in London had happened when I'd made my last video vlog, but of course there's been all that unfolding and the complete sort of lack of preparedness, empathy, or even responsibility at all from the local authority down there and the government of Mrs May, which of course is unfortunately the story in all poor parts of Britain, but tragically some of the poorest people in our country down in London have had to pay for it with their lives, which has been just horrific to watch, and the total lack of response, total lack of empathy. Even today, what, 4 or 5 days later, on the Andrew Marr show this morning with Philip Hammond was just baffling, shocking. They must surely realise they know what they're doing. To any sort of semblance of, I don't know, respectability the Tory party had in the country, they can't be that detached, surely. They must have their own self-preservation mechanism, but it's becoming clearer and clearer they just don't. They're that detached from reality. It's just unbelievable. And yeah, it's been a strange week because I've been, well, part of the reason I haven't been making any vlogs this week is because I've been so inundated. Now that people have found out that I'm a counsellor, their counsellor, I've been inundated with requests for help for many things that have been long-standing problems, strangely or not, because this is another very poor part of the country, mostly to do with housing, substandard, private rented housing for what would be otherwise would be social housing tenants. I've had one lady who had a house fire, which destroyed the upper part of a council house in my ward, not too far from me, 2 months ago, and has had no help at all from any councillor or official. I'm the first person, I think, who's officially, as an elected representative to help at all, which is shocking. I've had another person approach me through some of my voluntary work that I do locally, who has asked me to help her with, again, disgusting, unbelievable over-occupancy of a private rented house now, who has been desperately trying to get onto suitable social housing through the council, and I think I'm the first person who's an official to try and help her. Now, I know I've got no power. All I can promise to do is listen and try my best, so I'm going to try my best for her. The lady who had the fire, she's got 2 children who she's been desperate to get simple things like bedroom furniture, bed, wardrobe, carpets. She hasn't got carpets, can't get carpets. I've been around carpet shops here trying to beg, steal or borrow carpets. It's not happening. I've contacted big companies around here, multinationals, deal with carpets, furniture, things like that. No response. So I've been racking my brains all week trying to think of new angles, new ways of trying to get some help. So there have been interesting parallels, and of course it brings us on to what's happened in London and this whole problem with poor tenants simply being ignored because they're poor. They don't have any power in local council chambers, in the government. They don't have any economic power. Brings us on to the reason why I'm here, why I ran for the council. This is exactly why I ran, because here I am. I can tip the camera up for you, what I showed you before. The mould on the ceiling here is substandard housing. We learned today that the Tories' own housing minister voted against the Labour Party's bill, Jeremy Corbyn's amendment, or amendment, I'm not sure, attempt to stop people living in substandard housing. Because of course, you may or may not know that a good majority of Tory MPs are private landlords themselves. So there's obviously a vested interest there, because they're getting, I think it's in the region of billions of pounds, private landlords, in housing benefit, straight from the public purse, straight into their pockets. Simple as that. They're represented by the Tory party on the whole. Of course there are Labour Party and other parties MPs who are landlords, but on the whole the Tory party has the overwhelming sort of percentage of landlords as MPs, which of course is part of the problem. So yeah, it's been hitting the ground running, really. I was out campaigning yesterday, my first campaign since the election itself, general election. I'm acting, and thus all of us newer members, Corbynites sounds like something else, Corbynistas, we're all still in the mindset of, particularly this is before the tragedy in London happened, of there's probably going to be another general election because this DUP Tory thing isn't going to work anyway. The Tories are famous for turning on their leaders. They smell blood in the water, so it's likely to happen. So we're still in the mentality of this is still general election mode, So that's how we're behaving still. But yeah, so I'm trying to deal with my own unemployment, long-term unemployment, and trying to keep the job centre happy and keep the sanctions at bay, while going through the nonsense you have to go through to do that. Trying to support my family, who I live with my family in the same house, which is going to be difficult at times. Love each other very much, but it can be very difficult still. So there's all that going on a daily basis, trying to support each other. And now all of this and all of my voluntary work in the community, which is great. I need two of me. I need to be a lot fitter. So yeah, that's why I haven't been making videos for the past 4 or 5 days. Just had another time, really. Anyway, yeah, and it's been a bit all over the place this one, but yeah, from what I've been dealing with myself as a counsellor in the past week for my own residents and what happened in London, there is a correlation, because we're talking about poor people, whether it's in London or up here, who are all facing the same problem, which is being completely ignored by the powers that be, out of sight, out of mind. That's certainly the way it is up here, I'm afraid, unfortunately. Certainly the way it was down there, and to an extent it still seems to be, still. And I'm going to do all I can, my best, as one single person, one single counsellor, to do something about it. But what I can do, I don't know, but I'm going to do my best. There's a council meeting coming up this Wednesday. I went to my first one last Wednesday, which was an eye-opener even for me. Some of the things I heard were pretty shocking, but I won't go into details yet. So yeah, another one next week, so I'm trying to get onto the table a discussion about at least getting or trying to get smoke alarm checks or installations for free, particularly in private rented, low quality social housing, which there is an abundance of here, which I'm living in. I've gone into many houses over the years where smoke alarms are hanging from the ceiling, obviously broken, not replaced, because we can't afford to. And this was a worry with the tower lockdown in London. No sprinklers, no smoke alarms. It's just, this is the problem all over the country, I think, personally, from my experience. So I'll update you with what happens with that. So the struggle continues for my residents and me, and I will be trying to vlog daily if I can next week and sort of tell you what happens, and we can have a bit more discourse about what is or isn't happening down in London for the poor people that have been made homeless now. I heard today, quite late in the day, that the government are going to give each family £5,000 or something through the DWP into their bank accounts, and £500 initially sort of in their hands, but which is fine. What about that's really the first thing you sort out is housing, so their kids can sleep, so they can sleep or try to sleep after a week of this, and then and have a safe place where they can perhaps get some help with the trauma they've just suffered, particularly the children. What about that? Where's all this been arranged? I haven't heard any of this being arranged, but they're talking about money. Very small amount of money in a place like that where poverty is cheek by jowl with enormous wealth, personal wealth. And of course we hear about all these properties that are there that are bought as investments by very, very rich people who probably often don't even live in the country. They buy them as investments because they're less volatile than commodities. Do you really think that council's going to let poor immigrants, take those properties to live in? No, I don't think so. We know how that goes. So I'll be interested to see how that works. I think they're talking about paying the initial money into post office accounts and then bank accounts. Well, if you're a poor immigrant into this country or poor person, the chances of you having all the paperwork, I know myself, all the paperwork to satisfy all of the stuff they need, for these sort of officious rules and things, for bank accounts and post office accounts to access his money. They're just throwing things out there in desperation. Where are the people? I want to know where are the people to help them get through all of that red tape crap to get to the money, in the first place. But number one, housing. Where's the housing for them? Safe, quality, local housing. Number one priority for them. Number one. I'm hearing nothing about it, neither are they. And some honesty about the death toll is also paramount, and it's not happening. And I've had a bit of trouble on Facebook talking about this and how angry I am, because I am angry, and I think a lot of people are angry, and I've been accused of politicking when I shouldn't be. I don't know if I'm politicking. That's not my intention, but I can't help but thinking about babies and toddlers dying in a completely preventable, horrific, hell-like inferno. And I think most people, normal people, are thinking about that, or can't help but think about that. So yeah, I'm angry, and I'm not going to curb what I think or say about it, even if that does offend people you know, I think I should be keeping quiet to show respect. I think it's better to show respect by holding people to account for something that was entirely preventable. None of those people died, and none of the people that survived are homeless and are suffering because of an accident or a mistake. They're dying, they've died and they're homeless because they're poor. End of, they're poor. That's all you need to know. So you know it, I know it, and let's see what can happen. But anyway, rant over. See you tomorrow, see you in the morning, you know, tomorrow's another day, a new day, and for now, ciao, and take care, my friends. Take care, strugglers.